So it's the presentation that I prepared the most. I have absolutely no slide, nothing. The idea of the session is that you can ask me anything. You can ask questions about what is the strategy of Odoo, about the product, about the technical stuff, about the business, about how to scale a company. And I will do my best to answer to you about that. So it's freestyle. I hope you like freestyle. I like because there is nothing to prepare. And who wants to ask the first question? Raise the hand. Let's go for it.
Thank you very much, and thank you very much for Odoo 17, because the changes are amazing again, and it's more of them than the last year. So thank you for that, and really heads up for Odoo.
I think we should thank the R&D team. They really did a good job.
Indeed, and I'm an Odoo partner, and I have a question as similar to every year. But how can we submit feedback from our clients in the most efficient way, so we can somehow influence the next version, so you get the instant feedback from the partners? I would prefer something other than feedback at Odoo, because no one ever replied anything which I actually sent there. So how can we cooperate or contribute more as partners to influence what is going to be in the new version of Odoo?
There is different ways. We don't have a feedback platform. We used to have that in the past, and it didn't work. It was too much noise. And so we thought that the best way to filter out the noise was to have all employees decide what they report to us or not. So the best way to send a feedback is to either send a support if it's a bug fix, odoo.com/help, or to talk to your account manager, or if you're a client, to your consultant. And they decide if they submit back to the product owner's team. And I do believe that the process works very well, even though I understand you might prefer to have a portal where you can submit directly. But if you look at the feature that we release every year, I'm pretty sure you would say, okay, yeah, they understand what we the direction looks good. It's just that, yeah, the way we filter out the noise is to ask our account manager or our consultant to decide what they can submit. Because for now, the way we have a process, internal process to submit feedback. But it's only for internal employees. So you ask someone and they will have to report. And if it really, really doesn't work, like if you are not happy with the answer of your consultant or your account manager, you can still send me an email, fp@odoo.com. It's no joke. Huh? I read all my emails and I love the product. So if I find a good improvement in the product, I will be happy to read it.
So good morning. Thomas Lenz from Luxembourg. We were a little bit sad that you didn't mention in your keynote that there are also...
Is there people from Luxembourg in the room? Yeah, too.
So we are using Odoo. We are deploying or trying to deploy Odoo in the whole social sector in Luxembourg. And we have seen one real blocking point, and I take the occasion here to address it, and that's mainly around, on the HR suite, because if you have, for example, a company of 100 persons where you want to plan the time, etc., you need to buy 100 licenses. So why are you not thinking of some sort of a primary license and a secondary license? Because getting Odoo, convince people to buy and enter into Odoo with such huge cost is difficult.
First, if you are talking about purely the planning of people, you don't need to create user to plan people. The planning is based on the employee object. So you can create planning on employees, not users. That way you don't pay for them. But that way they don't use the system. You plan the resources, but they don't use it. They receive by email their planning, and they can ask for a shift change and that kind of things. So you don't need to buy users to manage the planning. But then I will go, I think your question was a little step further, is to say, it's not only planning. They also want to use tasks and collaborate and something like that, probably. For time offs. Do you use only HR or you use the full Odoo suite? Okay. So the answer I have for you is that fortunately, the price is cheap. It's 20 euro. But we don't have a light user license because I do believe that our existing existing pricing is already a light plan. So yes, that's the only thing we can do. It is? Yeah, you can find a software that only do time off, which is cheaper, because the idea is that we deliver much more. And usually, when people start using Odoo, they communicate to each other. They use much more than the time off. But unfortunately, our pricing is designed that way. I have no better answer, unfortunately. We have a plan for pure HR users, for companies who only use HR modules, where it's much cheaper. It's 6 euro. But as you use the full suite, it will not work.
Hello.
Yes?
Yeah. I'm the partner from Ukraine. The context of Ukrainian market is following, that we have monopolized products there and we should fight with it. And I have a question. As a partner who developed localization for Ukrainian market, is there any possibility to provide it on the Odoo.com platform?
Yes, I would like to do it. And I'd like to work with you to do that, or other partners. If I remember the leading accounting software in Ukraine is actually a Russian software, if I remember well. That a lot of
we are a self-therapy company.
Okay. But yeah, I would like to have the localization for Ukraine ready. And so you can go at the booth of accounting booth, talk to our product owners, and they will check with you how we can do that. But it's part of what we'd like to do. It's part of our plan.
Yeah, thank you.
Yes.
Thank you for your presentation. It was really wonderful. It really got me excited for AI. So my question is embedded with AI. It's really fun to see all the changes, especially since the marketing died out on AI. But I see interesting implementations in Odoo 17 for AI. Is there a business strategy to continue implementation, expand on the features, or given on the feedback, you're going to slow down or try to actually innovate?
I'm not sure I get the question. Are you talking about will we go further into AI?
Yeah, and other features, not only using chat, for example, like ChatGPT.
Yes. No, ChatGPT is new, obviously, so it's part of what I showed today. But we do AI for years. Like one of the killing features of Odoo is the ability to process your vendor bills and bank statement automatically. That's based on our own AI. So we have AI teams working on that since years and improving all the time. We have other AI like predictive lead scoring in the CRM. So we continue to expand in different areas. So large language machine model is one area, but we continue on others too, obviously.
Okay, so implement it into manufacturing, for example, in inventory management or anything like that.
Yeah, I also have to say another thing is that I think for years companies have overrated AI. You hear startups doing AI for this, AI for that, AI for that. Supposedly it should transform the world. It improved the copywriting of some of the things, but it's not. So we have a more rational vision to AI, where we only develop it when it makes people save time. Like obviously an accountant that doesn't have to record the bill, big save time. But we don't want to put AI everywhere just for the pleasure of putting AI everywhere, because usually it may not have a value. So it's really based on specific use case. We don't have an objective to say we want to do more AI. For me, AI is a solution. We start from the problem. If we have a problem where AI is the best approach, fine. If not, we'll use another technology, just another algorithm. And for instance, when I look at Odoo 17, I showed you this morning all the AI feature. I do believe that the impact on usability and performance is probably 2 or 3 times more important than the feature of AI we released. Because there, people will save time recording the data, organizing the shop floor. So sometimes usability is even stronger. So we do AI, we do it for years. We have teams that are smart enough to do that. We'll continue. But we just see that as a solution to some problems. So we don't have an objective to market like some companies do AI at everything.
Thank you.
Raise the hand if you have questions, and we will bring you the mic.
Yes, here. Hello. Early in the morning, you present some data and configuration by industries, some solution by industry. This is a new strategy. You are going to still focus on solution by industry, or is just like this? And also, I think I read like 10 industry. This is just these 10, or you are going to add new industries?
It's probably the only question I will not answer today, because it's part of what I will showcase tomorrow.
Okay.
So you'll have to come tomorrow morning. I
will.
think it's a big game changer, but I have to explain it deeply, so I skip your question today. I'm really sorry.
I will expect that. Thank you.
Hi, I'm a new Odoo partner, and I wanted to find out a little bit more about, historically and also the roadmap for the future, where you see when people transition from other ERPs to Odoo, whose food are you eating? Which ERPs are you mostly taking over their customers from?
So
Odoo grows?
what is the main competitor? That's the question?
My main question is which people, which customers of which ERP are mostly switching to Odoo? In general?
So it depends on the segment. On small and mid-sized company, it's not about switching from Dynamics or SAP or so on. Small and mid-sized company, usually they have nothing, or they have a suite of different things. They have a Sage for this, WordPress for that, Trello for this, MailChimp for this, but they have nothing integrated. So on the small and mid-sized market, it's basically a new market. It's not a replacement market. On a large company, it's a replacement market. So when we work with 500 plus employees, there the main software we replace is SAP. And one of the good things for us, there is a massive opportunity, thanks SAP, I thank you for that. It's the coming of SAP S/4HANA. You know, with SAP S/4HANA, all the SAP R3 clients, they have to upgrade to SAP S/4HANA, but the upgrade is so expensive that it's basically a new project. And as usually, they are not happy with their current software. They hesitate to rebuy a new project to move to SAP S/4HANA because SAP announced that the other version of SAP will be deprecated in 2026, I think. They push back the year, so I'm not sure. So for us, it's a massive opportunity. We have large accounts coming in. Oh, we have 4 years. We have to replace our SAP. Can you help us? Yes, of course. And usually, we cut the bill massively. Any other question? Yes?
Hi, thank you so much for your time. Since I have the opportunity to ask you anything, so I'm going to ask who is actually behind Odoo? Like, do you have any partners or you are the only decision maker? And if you are the only decision maker, what are your strategies to take decisions?
Okay, so it depends on how we check. In terms of shareholders who owns Odoo, I am not the only one, but I am the major shareholder. I have more than 50% of the share. So on the paper and in reality, I can decide everything on my own. In terms of, but that doesn't matter. The thing that matters is the execution, what's happening in the company. And when you look at what's happening in the company, who decide what we develop as a feature, what we market as a product, how we brand the system, it's not me anymore. I obviously impact a lot of things, but we have a lot of very smart people in Odoo. And because of our company culture, they have a lot of autonomies and responsibilities. They don't need to go through the management for 99% of the decisions that are taken at Odoo. So what decides at Odoo today is the company culture. Every single person who faces a challenge can decide. Obviously, or the other team leader or the director, we guide and we teach and we train people. But I'm very proud to have a company where most of the decisions are not done by managers. We only intervene when it's necessary. I don't hear you, sorry. We'll go to the next question. Raise your hand again and you will have the mic again. Everyone can ask
Fabien.
one question per person. Yes.
Hello, Edgardo Fuentes, partner from Mexico and Canada. I want to ask you, where do you see Odoo in the next 5 years? You said something about SAP, but what about Oracle?
Not like them, for sure. If you want to predict the future, what's happening in 5 years, you need to understand the past. So let's have a look at what happened in your industry over the past. It started with the operating system. You know, MS-DOS, Dr. DOS, Unix, Minix, BOS, plenty of operating system 20 years ago. And fast forward today, there is only Microsoft Windows, iOS, and Linux. 3 operating systems. And then came the Office tools. So operating systems were purely technical, and then we added the complexity of the end user. We had the technical layer plus the end user. So we had a lot of Office tools, Lotus 123, Microsoft Works, WordPerfect, plenty of Office tools. Fast forward today, there is only Microsoft Office and Google Workspace. And then we have management software, because management software, in addition to the technical complexity, the user complexity, there is also the business complexity. So it's one layer on top. So I do believe that management software are where Office tools were 10 to 15 years ago, simply because it's way more complex. We are less mature. So we are still in a position in the market where we have plenty of competitors. You have, I don't know how much, but probably 1,000 ERP easily, some small, some large, available online. But I do believe that these will follow the same track than the rest of the industry, which is the operating system at the beginning and then the Office tools. And in a few years, I don't know if it's 5 or 10, it's going to be 1, 2, or 3 players. When the market will get mature, there will be only 1, 2, or 3 players that has the whole market. So what are my plans for the future? It's short. It's to survive. And I do believe that we have a good chance to be in this 1, 2, 3, because I see no one of the existing competitors being able to do that. I think if there is something next to Odoo doing that, so like the management software, but which is affordable, easy for everyone, doesn't cost a lot, so mature that it handles all you need, it's probably Odoo and new entrants, not SAP, not Microsoft Dynamics, new entrants. Yes? It works. It's okay.
Hi, yes. I've been with you for the past 3 years, and I've always asked the same question in every AMA. When will you be visiting us in Dubai?
You know what's crazy is that we have so many subsidiaries now that it's difficult for me to catch up with everything. But clearly, Dubai, you are doing an amazing job. The company grew massively in Dubai and Middle East. We have a lot of success. The thing is, I don't like to travel. And I think my time is more used to better used to develop the product, improve our process, work with the team, rather than shaking hands in different offices. Sorry to say that. So I will come, but it's not sure. No, I think your chance just improved because, you know, I'm living in India now since a few months. My family is still there. And Dubai is just between India and Belgium, so I think the chance for me to visit the Dubai office increased massively. And I know the team there is waiting for me. I have so much feedback that I think it's time to go for me.
Hello, Fabien, I'm here.
Yes.
Mohamed from Senegal. So we are partners since a long time. We are using Odoo since 28. We are based in Africa. So I want to know, what is your strategy for Africa? Thanks to the pricing, I think since 2 years we are having an increase of usage on Odoo.
Yeah.
But also in the same time, we have other competitors like Salesforce for the CRM and Oracle, very aggressive. For example, Salesforce, they want to do in 2 years, 3 billion of USD in Africa. And Africa is becoming a huge market in terms of digitalization. So what is your strategy for Africa? Thank you.
What I do believe is that most of the big players, they failed Africa. SAP, Microsoft. Africa is not well served today, which means there is a massive opportunity for Odoo. So we want to jump on this opportunity. We are one of the rare players who could say we offer our software at $6 per user and per month. I mean, the other cannot do. And for Africa, this is a killing value proposition, I believe. So it started for us to open an office. We opened Kenya close to a little bit less than a year ago. And now we are working on localization. Most of the localization will be done quite very quickly. Fortunately, Africa is much easier than other countries in terms of localization. But yeah, I completely agree that there is a massive opportunity at the right time because the other can't seize this opportunity easily. We have the chance to be flexible. It's needed in Africa. We have the chance to be affordable and open source. It's also very welcomed in Africa. So we are in a very good position to succeed where most of the others failed. Yes?
So, hello.
Yeah, go for it.
Hello, I'm also a Gold partner from Asia. So actually, I like your idea that to anticipate the future, we need to know about the past. And you compare also with operating system. And as we're thinking of operating system, we're thinking about Bill Gates or Steve Jobs to iOS. So Bill Gates said that he see the
I didn't get everything. We'll bring you the other microphone.
Hello?
Oh, yeah,
Hello?
that's okay.
Okay, the first gen is the graphics user interface, and Bill Gates doing the window. Now we have an AI, so do you think that we can Odoo? Because from our work, so by the way, we're using since version 7, and we go through all the way with Odoo. So do you use, we use it?
Sorry, I didn't understand anything about what you said.
So we're using Odoo as a business operating system. So do you think that AI could be a turning point for?
So is the question about will AI change everything, or?
So could we using AI as graphic user interface in operating system? So because right now what we're doing is we digitalize, automate the whole business process.
Okay, we'll give you the other mic.
Back UI. It's the back UI.
I have a question here.
Yes. Sorry, we'll come back to you, but we will ask someone and then.
Okay,
yeah.
This is Ibrahim Abed from Clementus, best MENA partner last year here. I have a question about the blockchain. We see other softwares that using now the blockchain and other technologies. I'm asking about the R&D team or you. Are you planning to use or to replace the structural database to blockchain or something more advanced, because we are now having difficulties about the 4 or 5 million journal entry in the same table. It makes some slowness. So I'm asking about the new database or any vision about this area. Thank you.
Yeah, I think blockchain is a solution looking for a problem. It doesn't solve a lot of problems. It actually creates a lot of problems. Your transactions are slow. So for a lot of things, like a database, blockchain is not suitable. It's slower, it takes more space, especially if it's distributed, it bloats your clients. There are a few use cases where the blockchain can be useful. For instance, in France, we have the legal obligation to guarantee that the accounting transactions have not been changed for cash journals. It's legal, so you have to have a way to guarantee that it never changed, which is not easy when you are on open source software, because everyone can change everything in the software because they get access to the source code. And there, blockchain is useful. Not a distributed blockchain, but just a hash chained suite of hash, because then we print the last hash on each invoice, and based on that, the government can verify that everything else in the past is correct. So that's a good solution for the blockchain. But we should not change the mindset and say, okay, we want to put blockchain everything. It's a bit like AI, or it used to be with cryptocurrency. There is a new trend, so people think we should go that direction. I do believe that, same answer than AI, we should always start with the problem. What do we want to solve? And not in the objective of using this solution. So what are the problems? Where are our users today wasting time doing manual job where we can save them time? And then once you understood the problem, once you understand that a recruiter spends 50% of data on scheduling meeting, then you get to a solution which is automate the meeting for the interviews. But it shouldn't be the other way around. You should not start with the technology to fix problem. And once you do that, sometimes you end up with an AI algorithm to fix the problem, sometimes blockchain, but most of the time not. And the database will stay Postgres because it's a very strong database and there is nothing better on the market.
Hello. Can you repeat again the question? So market very fast because battery could be out, right? So you compare between the past and the future. So in the past we have Bill Gates, we have operating system Windows, and we have revolution in the PC. So now we have Fabien and Odoo, which I call business operating system. And now we have the Gen AI. So it's changing a lot of things, I think. So at least the UI and also. So do you think of future that we're using Odoo as the business operating system with the Gen AI UI and make all the management process on the business more consumable and more individual?
So yes, the vision we have is always the same. Otherwise, it's not a vision if it's changed every year. It's for me, it's all about the user. And when I speak about the user, it's someone who has a real job: an accountant, a worker, a project manager, a recruiter. And what we want to do is to make their work better, faster, and easier. And usually, when you drill down, you start from the problem you want to solve, and then you drill down. You end up with things like usability is very important, doing the job, the feature that they need for the job, and that kind of thing. So this guides a lot of things in our roadmap. Apart from that, I start with what we have, and we work incrementally. There is nothing where we say, okay, in 5 years we want to be there. We don't think that way in Odoo, because usually when we want to develop, it's ready in 2 months. So there is no task that we couldn't do in less than 2 months, more or less. There is some big refactoring that took more time. But so when people ask me for a roadmap, for instance, I have no good answer because everything I wanted to do, it's already in version 17. Now we are planning the next 3 months, but we move forward that way. I hope it answered the question.
Okay, if I can ask again, or a different question. As you mentioned, you don't really like to travel, but anyway, a couple of months ago, you made a decision that you are moving to India. So I would like to ask, what was the main motivation of you yourself personally moving to India, and what are the key achievements it already brought, if it brought any? Thank you.
So why did I move to India? It's the way I work. When there is an inefficiency in the company, I fix it. And not me, and we all do that. We also have a lot of directors. We open it subsidiaries, travel to do that. And like them, I do my job too. The reason I went to India is simple. We have a massive opportunity there. Odoo's position of India is huge. A lot of them probably already work with an Indian subcontractor. They have like tens of thousands of developers on Odoo. And in a lot of countries, it's the bottleneck, finding developers on Odoo. It's also 1/5 of the world population. And it's one of the markets which is the fastest growing, faster than the United States and faster than in Belgium. So 1/5 of the population, fast growth. Odoo is very well positioned. And in addition to that, we were not that efficient. Our market in India we were doing 1 million euro last year. So it's basically nothing. So even the Indian companies, they were not working on the Indian market. They were working on selling offshore developments to American and European companies. So when you see that, you clearly have a big opportunity for improvement. And that's why I decided to go 1 year there. And about what we did there. So this is the growth of the number of new clients in India. And this is December when I arrived. So the first strike is the new pricing. And then that's the effect of everything we did in India. I have some graphs here over here, so that clearly see that there was a potential. Number of employees, we doubled it in 6 months. So from 200 something to 400 something now, close to 5. Here you have the number of people attending to our events. So we exploded everything. Number of leads that we generated. So basically, we had a lot of good things in India. We had good employees, we had a lot of experience, a lot of partners, but they were not addressing the Indian market. We had issues with marketing, we had issues with sales. Service could have been with a bigger team. So there was a potential, but it was not used. And the reason I went is just to leverage this potential. And I can guarantee you one thing is that we will all benefit from it. Because the India is the development center of the world. Any other question?
Yeah. Hi. Thank you. I'm Stefan from Germany. I have got one question because I have reviewed other ERP systems too, and they provide this function. Why don't you freeze the data of a customer to confirm sale orders or invoices? So for example, what I mean is you have got an invoice and you do many invoices to the same customer over a long period, and one time there comes the moment where the customer lives not on this city, so another city, so the perhaps not best schooled user use this customer, clicks on it, change the master data, and the master data in all previous invoices will be changed to this new address. Thank you.
Yes. The reason is that sometimes you want to change the address of the customer. Sometimes you don't want, sometimes you have to. And when we design, we always design for the mass. The mass of the SMEs, they are very happy to update address. It doesn't change on the invoice. So if you reprint the PDF, you can get the old same PDF as before, if you set it up. So you still have the old data. But it's just that for the future invoice, you have the future address, which sometimes is useful. And I agree that for larger companies mostly, they find it less efficient. They prefer to have a few people that are dedicated to change that rather than letting the sales people change address, for instance. And for that, we have a specific access rights in Odoo that you can put on users. It says who can change the partner. And so basically, we can answer both. You can have the flexibility that the SMEs need, and you can be strong and say not everyone can change the address, only a few selected people can do it. And usually they might fix the address if it's a typo, or they will create a new partner if it's not a typo, but if it's really a new address. And I think that suits all the use cases without problem. For instance, at Odoo, we configure it that way, or the user cannot change the address, or they have to ask one of the few people who can, because of that matter. So it's just a configuration. And it's not the default. The default is to be more flexible. Yes, next question.
First of all, I would like to thank you and your team for the entire team for your amazing job. In one sentence, I'm a former co-founder of an industrial company. We used Odoo, and I love so much Odoo, so I decided to become an integrator in France.
We often see that. Customers don't need to partners.
Yeah. Now I have a embarrassing question. I would like you share with us your vision about sales strategy with direct and indirect sales, because sometimes we fight with your team, direct team, for some customer. Thank you.
It's a good fight. But I will explain you why. First, I don't have the exact number to check, but if I remember well, the number of projects that we do in direct versus the number of projects that the customer do, the partners do, sorry, it's something like they do 20 to 50 times more project than us. So we have between 2% and 5% of the project worldwide. So in my opinion, it's not like we are eating the cake of the partners. We have 2 to 5% of the project. They have 95% of the project. So we are not eating the cake of the partners first. But the fact that we do direct contributes massively to increase the size of the cake. And I see it because in some countries we don't do direct, and in others we do. And every time we start doing direct in a country, people start to get scared, or Odoo will start selling too. But usually what happens is that because we do direct, we improve the product so much to perfectly fit the market. And then that justify marketing. We do marketing. We create a mass of small clients because sorry, when I was saying 2 to 5%, I mean of the service market. On the number of clients, we focus on very small ones who don't want to buy service, like people who buy online, self-subscription with a little bit of support. So the mass of clients is still big that we manage indirect. And so we contribute massively to increase the pie. And if you ask to a lot of the partners who were here since 5 to 10 years, they will all tell you they were scared when we launched direct 5 years ago, or 10 years ago in Belgium, or no, 5 years ago. A lot of them, it was the same question. And if you ask them, are you in a better position today, or were you in a better position 5 years ago when Odoo was not doing direct? All of them will tell you today is a much better position because the pie is much bigger, and direct contribute to the pie. Having said that, it's true that we try to create a strong border between direct and indirect. For us, it's different teams. They cannot share leads. If a partner refer the leads, he has the priority. The direct cannot sell if he was first. Huh? If direct started to sell, it's different. So we have a set of internet rules to guarantee that we segment both. But even with all these rules, it's never perfect. So friction happens. And I do believe that the friction is the cost to having a better market. So as a summary, we try to minimize the friction, but there will always be, because customers try. They contact you and us. But as a summary, I'm lost to what I wanted to say. Direct. Yes, you have to see it that way. Odoo today has something, depending on the country, between 0.1% and 0.3% of the market. Ask 100 companies or 1,000 companies, you will have 1 or 3, between 1 and 3, who actually use Odoo. So we have nothing. So it's like we are fighting for this 0.1% of who will deliver the service to them. The real challenge is to grow this 0.1 or 0.3%, depending on the country, to 2%. And this is where we will all benefit from that. And I think the direct contribute a lot, because the direct do volumes of small companies who don't want to buy services, which is a segment of market that the partners are not well addressed to serve, because most of them are services companies. And so we complement to each other. The direct do the small ones, or the ones who buy online, who want to buy standard, and the partners are better when there is local service, custom development, which is usually for a slightly higher size of market. And there is an exception to that rule, is the large companies, where we also do direct in some countries, probably not in France, or close to Belgium, the border, Lille also. And there, the reason we do it is very different, is because the partner network is too small. And when we work with a 5,000 user company, usually we don't have partners to address them, and they get scared when they see the partner. And there we do a kind of a mix. We do direct because we need the knowledge, the methodology, so that we can teach them to the partner to help them grow. But there is a lot of projects that we try to do with partner. So it's a mix between direct and indirect. We do together with a partner, so that the customer has the confidence of working with a software vendor, and we have the partner in the loop. And now maybe I can answer the same question in another way. You have to imagine that 33% of our charges are in R&D. 33% of our charges, or 20% of our charges are in marketing. So 50% of our charges are just the product and marketing. It is impossible to sustain that level of cost if you are a service company. So for us, it's simple. I cannot be a service company. There is no way we can remain profitable if we start to be a service company. So if we do service, obviously, but it's not a strategy and it's not a goal. We do service because we have to, otherwise we lose clients, like the small ones who just don't want to buy service, but they are ready to just buy 25 support hours just because they need a minimum to go live on their own. So we have success pack for these. But the strategy of Odoo is not to become a service company, because it would make no sense. The cost structure of a software vendor and a service company is very, very different. Another question?
Yeah, I have one question regarding localizations, and I wanted to know if you had any plans to centralize and to streamline that. Given an example here, like 4 years ago, I was contacted by Odoo for the Moroccan localization. And
Which one?
Moroccan localization.
Moroccan, okay.
Yeah, and we had some exchange, and 2 years later, we have like the Moroccan localization as the native in Odoo standards. But it still took 2 years, and by that time there were some new regulations, and some salary rules had changed and all that. We're planning to do the same thing for the Canadian and the US market, but we want to know if there is some way to make that more quicker and also centralize that between the local partners so that the local partners can have more say and more implication to with the localization that the development for their countries.
Yes. Localization is a top priority for us. And we have the developers too, and the team to do localization grew a lot, both for the product owners and the developers. So we are releasing much faster, way more localization than before. And it remains a priority. So you just have to go into contact with us and we can check how we can collaborate. Having said that, we have a lot of partners who come and say, I've developed this feature and developed this feature. The issue we have with localization, because we have a lot of partners who say, we want to collaborate and work with you. And sometimes we try and it doesn't work. And the reason why it doesn't work is that the problem is not to develop the feature. Development is very easy. The problem with localization is exactly to know what to do. And this problem is solved very easily. You take the leader of the market and you copy all the features. And for that, we don't need big specification or partner doing PR or whatever. But we still need partner in the community to test, give us feedback, deploy after quickly on a direct client. So we still need some help, but more in terms of project manager, testers. Obviously, if you have a working localization, it's good too, but we prefer to start with, we pick the leader of the country and we check if we are missing features. Because in the past, we used to say, okay, the partner has this, we develop this. They ask this, we develop that. And we never had a complete localization. We had stuff that they asked for, and but it was not the reality. But when you copy the leader, it's super easy. And so we changed our strategy to that, but we still need the partner to collaborate, deploy what we have test what we have developed, and also explain us, sometimes we don't understand some feature. Next.
Hello. I'm from Botswana. We are an Odoo Gold partner there, and the only Gold partner, or the only Odoo partner in the country. And one of the struggles we normally face in Botswana is the fact that being the only partner, we're not able to build confidence in our customers, especially it being an Oracle country who we're trying to convert to Odoo.
Yes.
They do not get confidence that we would be able to support them till eternity. And we've often called upon Odoo to say, please come and support us in the sales. Please help us give confidence to our customers to say, we've got your back. So if Cuberoot was to disappear, Odoo still got your back. But I think we're still failing to get that sort of support from Odoo, and I really wish we could get it.
Yeah, I think you are the perfect example of what I was explaining before. People feel that, I think it was your question, that if there are more people, there is competition, but it's actually the opposite that we should do. The more partners we have in a country, the more awareness we build and the more direct we do, the easier it is for the partners to be legit and offer service in the country. So clearly it's more difficult to be alone in the country, I agree. On your question, should we help? Yes. You have to check with your account manager, and it's his job. He should help you and comfort the client, or even do project with you if needed for larger client. If it doesn't work, if you have the feeling that working with the account manager is not good enough, you can escalate to his manager, Patrick. And if it doesn't work with Patrick, you can escalate to me. I have no better answer. And I don't relocate to Botswana.
Thank you very much. My question is about the upgrade process. What is the roadmap? There are still problems. Do you see an end to this problem from upgrading from version to version?
Yes, the best way to solve the problem is to minimize the custom development. And this is something we are trying to educate and explain since years. because obviously the more custom development, the technical depth or community module you use, the more complex it is to upgrade. So the right path is to change the mindset of minimizing that and sticking to the standard, and we only do custom development or community module when it's needed, 1. 2 is for the partner who do custom development to apply a maintenance contract that covers the migration. The majority of the partners still don't do that. So customer, they develop, and customers are not covered for the migration. And I really recommend partners to do that, not only because it's bad to keep your customer on version, but also because it's a good source of revenue. We do that for 100% of our own direct clients. Every single one has a maintenance contract that includes the migration and the upgrade. They pay 16 euro per 100,000 lines of code, and we don't have issue because of that. We see upgrade as a source of revenue, whereas some of you might see upgrade as a pain point. After that, that's for the custom code, which is the complex part of a migration. For the standard, the migration script will be ready in January. And we are super good now at migrating because I don't have the exact number, I don't know if Anthony is in the room. No? But we upgrade all Odoo online clients every 2 months. So migration scripts are pretty solid because we are talking about 100,000 plus of clients that we upgrade continuously. So it's quite mature. Obviously, when we release a new migration script, so in January, we might have a few issues. But the way we proceed is the following. We first upgrade our own database, odoo.com. That's going to be done this week, or next week, sorry. And once we have done that, we migrate all the Odoo online clients because they are all on standard, so it's easier for us. And they're already running our 16.4, not 16.0, so the gap is smaller. And once we have done that, it's going to be January. Then we open the migration script for everyone in stable. If you are more in an emergency, the migration script will actually be opened next week, but in a test case. So if you use Odoo on-premise or Odoo OSH, you will be able to upgrade, but in a test case, because we don't guarantee it works, it's better to wait that we have migrated 100,000 clients before you do it for your database. So I hope I answered the question.
Hi, Fabien. Odoo partner from Quebec, Montreal, Canada here. I have a question for you that I've heard you answer before, but I'd like to see if maybe your mind changed a little bit. It's about the documentation. A few days ago, we had the release notes, and congratulations for all the features. It's always super great to see that. I'm just wondering if maybe there's a middle between the hundreds of pages of SAP that they document on the release notes and maybe what we get from the ones of Odoo. What I'm imagining is maybe just a few screenshots to see where things are and what things are in the real world. I mean, it's probably something like 100 hours invested into us partners being able to sell those features to migrate our clients.
I think we have better than that. We have 350 sessions during Odoo experience on all the new features, so everything is covered. All these sessions are broadcasted on YouTube so that you can check on your own. We also have the documentation that has been updated much faster than usual, the functional documentation, which is very good now. It used to be shitty a few years ago. Now it's very complete and quite good. And we also have the release note. And I can tell you that even if this release note is small compared to SCP with describe every field, I'm pretty sure that none of you will, or at least a small number of you, will read this page entirely. So it's already a lot to... it's always a trade-off. I mean, we always want more documentation, more explanation, more. But for us, it's the way we allocate our resources. We do a lot. Odoo Experience is a massive event for us in terms of organization. It's huge. It costs millions of euros to produce the content, to organize the event, to invite everyone, and that kinds of and these things. Doing more than that, I think it's going to be a bad usage of the resource. I think it's better to improve the feature rather than documenting them sometimes.
Thank you. I just suggest screenshots. Thank you.
But you have videos, it's even better. But you have to deal with it.
Hi again. Here. I have a question about the data security. Actually, nowadays everything is data. So the problem that I see is that in Odoo SH, if you have some problem and you want to give access to your third party or developers, there's only two options available, either to view a user or either as an admin. So what they are doing is that they can download all your data and can see everything inside, your contacts, your balance sheet, everything. So is there any way to stop them to
I
view only
think they introduced a third role. Can someone confirm that? Tu sais, Fabrice? On Odoo SH. I'm pretty sure because we had the discussion, they introduced a third role on Odoo SH. I'm not sure. Is there someone from Odoo SH in the room? No. Anthony is never here when we need him.
Because this is the only thing that every time we do things, so
I understand.
There's a pressure from the management that you should not be sharing this with any other third party because they're gonna charge you based on our money. They can see the money, and they're gonna ask you, okay, we're gonna charge you this X amount of money.
So there are different things. First, now in Odoo, in the shell of Odoo, you can anonymize the data. That's very cool. It's in the. You see, when you run Odoo bin, you just help. Deploy. Scaffold. It's not there, but it's going to be in 1 week. I don't know where it is, but we have a tool. If you ask to meet the developers, the internal team, they will tell you exactly. But we developed a tool that anonymizes the data. So you can basically share your database to the client, and it anonymizes the data, so you have no names, nothing, any database. And it's a tool we use for the upgrade. So when you share your upgrade to us, for us to upgrade your database, we allow to receive an anonymous database. I think the mechanism to anonymize the database is in the upgrade script. So it's not in the command, I think. But I don't remember what it is, but I'm sure we have some tools, so you should ask the framework Python to answer you. And for Odoo SH, maybe you should talk to the Odoo SH team, which is in the Meet Developer section. They will tell you about the access rights we have on the Odoo SH. So we still have time for 1 or 2 questions.
Morning, sir. I like a lot of the features seem to be well tested, and there's the excellent studio tool which we use for demonstrations to the client as a pilot. But when we actually do the project, we've been advised that we probably should not use the studio and use the coding. Is there a roadmap for that?
It depends. When we do small and mid-sized projects, we often do it just with studio, because the advantage of studio is that the customization are not code. And because the customization are not code, it's easy to upgrade. It doesn't cost anything, and it's automatic, more or less. At least it's provided by your service, so you don't never have to pay for it. Obviously, when you do larger projects, Odoo Studio is more a tool to do proof of concept or prototypes, but it's still useful. And we start to see a lot of clients where, for large projects, where we developed the code for the large project, and when they get their hands, when it's in production, they customize with Odoo Studio. And I think it's fine. I think it's okay. So there is a good balance. It's case by case.
Okay, here.
Yes?
One in general, what is your opinion about the level of Odoo partners worldwide?
About the Odoo partners?
Yes, about the level of the quality of the partners.
The quality of their development?
The development in implementation.
I think it's difficult to answer worldwide because the situation is not the same in every country. For instance, I was explaining India. The issue with India is that they don't know the business of Odoo. They only know the technical side, the development of Odoo. They're very good developers, but they make projects sometimes a mess because they don't do implementation. So that's one of my challenges in India, is to turn the partner into addressing the domestic market, because I think they will learn a lot from it, and they will offer a better service once they understand how to implement such software. But the situation is not the same everywhere. Depending from one country to another, the level of the partners we have is very, very different. In general, I'm very happy with the relationship we have with partners. They are all open, transparent, even between each partner. A lot of them collaborate within each others. A lot of them contribute to open source on the Odoo App Store. We have good relationship on GitHub with a lot of feedback. So for us, it's really a pleasure to work in such kind of environment. Obviously, the partner network is a little bit young. We don't have the expertise of some of the partners of SAP, for instance, who have logisticians that do that since 20 years or 30 years. Almost the most experienced people you can find in Odoo are probably have 5 to 10 years here. But the mindset of the community, the kind of project they deliver, the way we collaborate and work together, even though it's never perfect, it's really good, I think. And then we have challenge country by country, like I explained in India, but that's more local. Last question, I don't know if I have time.
Just a quick question.
Il y a encore une session après ou pas? C'est la dernière? Ah, okay, we have time. Yes.
So just a quick question. Now you have Odoo that allows you to create e-shops and everything pretty quickly. Can you bring back OpenStuff?
So we were talking about people who have more than 10 years. You're probably one of them. OpenStuff is one of the first e-commerce I did when I was a student. And I was selling T-shirts with Linux logo, Debian, and so on. It went very big. I became one of the biggest resellers of Europe. But it was a pain. Because as a student, I had to fold 10,000 T-shirts every day to post them at the post. And at some time I said, okay, it's not my job to fold T-shirts, send them everywhere. I will refocus on doing real management software. It was a size project that became big and was eating up all my time. And it was funny because I did it for non-profit. So all the profit I got with OpenStuff, because it became quite big, I gave it to open source association, like FSF and things like that. So I was very proud as a student to offer money to open source association. And then I stopped the activity and I ended up with a huge inventory. So this non-profit activity costed me actually a lot of money at the end. So it slowed down a little bit the beginning of Odoo because I had to pay for this liability. I still I have, I don't know if my father is in the room, I don't think so. I still have something like 500 stuff GNU in the house of my father, and some posters and things I never finished. And for years we distributed this GNU at Odoo Experience because I didn't know what to do with them. Any other question? Yes. I think it's the perfect example of the startup mindset. The very beginning of Tiny and Tiny ERP was financed by me selling T-shirts and stuff GNU at open source conference. I was in Germany I don't know, in IT things. And I had a booth where I was selling T-shirts and stuff GNU. As a student, I couldn't pay for the booth, so this was paying the booth. And next to that, I was selling e-commerce systems. And I hope that my T-shirt would finance the booth for the e-commerce system. And all my student friends came to help me at the time.
Hi, Fabien. First of all, thank you about the update on the upgrade script. I already had customers texting me of when can they upgrade, so now I know the answer. But I want to follow up on the localization topic a little. You mentioned it's a priority for Odoo, and that's great to hear. But I also discussed with a product owner from accounting and saying that on his own shoulders there are like 15 localizations, and his developer is shared between many localizations. So in terms of making a priority, are you actually adding more people to the team? So if actually it can be like few people per localization dedicated or something like that? What's the goal here?
So the way we organize is that each product owner usually manages a series of 10 different applications. So we have a product owner who do tens of applications. For accounting, it's an exception. We have 4 product owners just for accounting. So it's already like we would put 10 times more effort on accounting. And the head of the product owners came from this team, so he's very focused on that, and me too. So yeah, we are putting way more effort, but something also you should know is that we are magicians to make things move forward. You probably have seen between version 14, 15, 16. We have a capability to develop, create value, innovate, which is quite fast. So even though sometimes we are slow on something, usually we fix it for the next year, and I hope we'll do that for localization. And actually, in localization, it's because we have to do a lot, but I don't think there is a software that is as complete as Odoo today. Even SCP, for instance, the Belgian localization is not done by SCP, don't cover as many countries as we did. So even though we feel like we should do more, and I agree we should do more, we are already the best in the world in that level. Any other question?
Okay, I have one more since I have the opportunity to ask now. So part of the Odoo experience every year is giving awards to the best partners, translators, and also the contributors. And I've been trying to ask many Odoo employees about what are the criteria for the best contributor, but no one was ever able to answer to me. So I would be curious how you evaluate who's the best contributor. Are there any strict rules, or it's more like a feeling, or are you checking GitHub commits, or what is the magic behind?
I don't know, but obviously someone should know. And I think this person is Olivier Denis, who is working in internal. You can meet at the developer booth, and he would explain. I think he does some metrics on the App Store, the most downloaded, GitHub, PR, security. He mixes all of the things because he's an engineer, so it's not subjective at all, I can tell you. He's one of the most extreme engineers you could get. And he comes up with a name, and then it is him. If you want to know the exact way, you should ask him. I know that from translator, it's easier. From translator, we really measure the number of terms they translated. So it's much easier. It's based on the effort the person did. But for the general contributor, I don't know how he does that. Which is good, huh? If I would know, it means it's subjective, and I don't want it to be subjective.
Hello.
Yes.
Yeah. I'm a partner from Nigeria. I just wanted to ask, what improvements are you planning to make in the areas of data analysis?
What? Data analysis?
Yes.
You should follow the talks over spreadsheet that we have. And even the community, I've seen Come to Cam doing a good one on the Odoo spreadsheet to manage their commission system. I don't know if it's today or it's going to be tomorrow. But basically, our business intelligence engine is based on Odoo spreadsheet. And the spreadsheet evolves a lot. I won't show you all the features though, because it's going to take 1 hour. But check in the agenda talks about business intelligence or Odoo spreadsheet, and you will have your answer. Okay, last question, because you remind me that there is the award. I think it's today, the award, or tomorrow? Ah, it's tomorrow. It's okay.
Hi, Fabien. I was just wondering, any plans for Odoo to go public at some point?
Yes, we have plans, and the plan is to never go public.
All right.
And maybe I should explain why. The reason is that once you get public, it tends to refocus everything on the short term. You know, you have your earning calls where you have to announce the number and the sales number of the month. And if they are good, everyone is happy. If they are bad, everyone criticizes you. You have article in the news saying it's bad, and your employee who have shares start to be demotivated. I don't want Odoo to start thinking for the short term. I think the success of Odoo has always been that we always go for the long term. That allows us to take decisions that are very difficult, like the one we did with the pricing last year, reduce the price for all the small and mid-sized company. It costed our revenue a lot. No public company would probably have done that. We do that because we just think about how many users and customers we can acquire, and we don't think in terms of revenues. That's one point. The other point is that when you are public, you have a series of constraints and reporting that makes the company more complex. And you know, we are passionate about making everything smoother and simpler. That applies to our own company too. We don't want a company to have bigger, more complex process and everything, so we prefer to stay private. And the third one, which is also very important, is that once you are public, you cannot announce whatever you want. You cannot be transparent with your employees. You cannot be transparent with your community. You have to wait the earning calls with the investor in order to announce stuff. And I don't want to do that. I want to have open discussion and ask me anything like we have here. We often do that with employees, with the community, and be able to say, oh, tomorrow we have a good month, like I don't know how much we'll sell. 30 million? This month? 35? This month we'll do 35 millions of revenues, minimum. If we would be public, I could go to jail. Because you cannot announce that. It's, comment on appelle ça? Délit d'initié. You cannot announce that that way. And I don't want to do that. I want to be transparent to the community and have a relationship with everyone.
Thanks.
So I think we can stop here. We have an amazing party and food. The food is done by Odoo employees. You can taste the quality of our chefs and cooks. And it's really good, huh? It's not... And music is not by Odoo employees, but tomorrow it will be. And usually it's a great party, so you are welcome on the other auditorium.